This week, which is week 3, we are going to decide on our roles for the magazine as well as make a profile. So let's go through that process. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll go to Unwritten Blue, and then you will put in WordPress admin. Then you log in. The profiles can be found under portfolio. You'll need a really cool picture of yourself to use for the portfolio, and that will go here in these little thumbnails. Your first move is to find one of these, which are all drafts, right, and then just clone it. Okie doke. So now we have a clone. We go into the clone. You're going to type your name here. And also edit the URL. Okay, cool. So that's all you need to know for now. So now let's look at the structure that we have here automatically. We have the profile and the profile mobile, so these are redundant, they're the same. Then we have the biography, that's text, and then we have the exhibition sequence, which is the timeline. Finally, we have video, which you might not use if you don't have any video to show. And then after that, we have work, which is just a gallery of images. So we're going to be making work in this class, obviously, so we'll use this. But we won't use the video section. So the first thing that we can do is just go ahead and delete the video section. Although if you do happen to have a video, then go ahead and use it. So let's say that we did have a video. Let's open the section up, the video, and you'll see that it has an element called Vimeo, and you just put in the Vimeo address. Most of us are probably using YouTube, so I will just add a YouTube element. Cool, so using this YouTube element, I can go in here and I can add my video ID. So if at some point you do want to use that, that's how you do it. But for now, we're just going to delete this whole container. Now get a little bit oriented around here, because I realize this is the first time we've been using the page builder, and the blog really was kind of like a text editor. So you have the container, and then inside of the container you have columns, right? So that's why there's 2 add buttons. So you can add a column set or a new container. So just for fun, because we're going to delete this element anyways, let's add in some columns, right? So we have empty columns, and then we can add in whatever elements we want to. And there are usually just hundreds and hundreds of elements. So we won't get into them all now. If we want to change the size of the columns, then we can do that really easily by clicking here. All right, so that is your basic orientation. Because we are working from a template, you never need to add a new container in this exercise, but you may find yourself wanting to fool around with columns and change your columns. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this entire video container because we won't be using it. And then everything else we will use. So the first thing we'll deal with is the artist's profile. And the artist profile has 2 versions. It has the desktop version and the mobile version. So let's take a look at what this might look like. All right. So I'm going to go to my site, go to my page here, and then we'll try to discern the difference between the desktop version and the mobile version. So in the desktop version, you have this nice responsive image, which is pretty corny actually. And then when you flip to mobile, then the image turns into a block and it's not responsive anymore. It means it's not loading as much script, so it's a little bit easier for for a mobile phone to load it up, and probably the image is a little bit smaller. So it just simplifies the page and the layout. It makes it a little bit easier to use on mobile. All right, that looks really good. So that's called mobile first design, and it is super common. Well, it's the way that all websites are designed now, because we've just exceeded 50% of mobile visibility, which means that most websites are visited on phones, not on computers now. Yeah, so most people browse the internet on their phone now. All right. So, see these two sections? This is the artist profile, and this is the mobile profile, so they're completely different. All right, so I will open this up. I'll edit that, and I'll put in my profile picture. And the only one we have right now is Nishta, so I'm just going to use that. And then everything else is already created according to the template, so I don't really have to do very much. Instead of artist profile, I'm going to change this text so it says my role. I'm just going to say editor. And then obviously I'm going to put my name here. And you don't have to put when you were born, although you can if you want to. You can put, I mean, maybe that's kind of a nice milestone, but you could substitute it with a single line entry about yourself. All right, that's all for now. Now I'm going to close this. That was the mobile version, and I'm going to look at the desktop version. So on the desktop version, we have artist profile. I'm going to change that to my my role. I'm going to change this to my name. And then this is the one line about yourself. Now here it's kind of weird. When you're on here, you can see this profile picture is right here, but when you go to the back end and look at the full screen version of it, you see that this is just an empty column. So that's exactly right. This is just an empty column, and it just has specifications for how big it is. And all that we do is we edit the column and we add a background, right? So yeah. So see here, this little control under design, it says 100px border radius, so that gives us that curve on the edge of it. If you see that, yeah, so that little curve right there. And then the only thing that we need to be aware of is that basically we have the background here. So we go to background, which is BG, then we go to image, and then we're going to edit this image and choose our picture of Nishta. Of course, if you're just doing yours from the beginning, you will upload your picture here. Cool. Go ahead and publish it. Take a look at your work. It's okay to publish it now because it doesn't appear anywhere. It's not on the menu, so we'll add it to the menu later. Okay, this is looking great. Also, don't worry about this little side menu here. I'll change it later as well. And I'm not sure if it's even working right now, so just ignore that. All right, so we have a few elements for this assignment. So you have a paragraph about yourself, you have a large paragraph, and then a small paragraph. That can be whatever you want. And then here you have, this is called exhibitions. So what I would love for the exhibitions part, see how it's like a little timeline? You could just put a normal resume items there, but I don't want that. I want you to tell a little life story, right? So see the early times are at the beginning, and then it goes up to the present, right? So we'll look at how to do that, and then this is going to be a gallery of your work that you do in the class, right? So let's look at how to change these paragraphs, how to change the timeline, and then also how to change the gallery. All right, so that's our next agenda. So see this little triangle? You can just close it. So then we can check these off. We've done the profile. We've done the profile mobile. And then the biography, we click that open and you can see the upper paragraph here and then the lower paragraph here. So, say something about yourself. These can be whatever you want. That's fine. All right, so exhibitions, this is the timeline, and you can see that basically it has two elements. It has a divider, and then it has these nested columns. So you can make this as long as you want, but I think that you should use all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe add some more just for fun. So I can duplicate the divider and put it above. I can duplicate the nested columns and put that above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the context of this assignment, make at least 6. But the longer the better. Okay, so I've duplicated this. And then I'm going to make a timeline that tells my autobiography. Okay, so bear with me here. So I'm going to say, this is when I was born. And make something, poetic. Birth. You don't have to do yours exactly the same as mine. Born beneath a stormy sky in the wilds of Alaska. The first child in a ghost town. Born in a railroad car. That is actually true. I was born in a railroad car that had been converted into a cabin in Alaska in a ghost town. So I think because this semester is about storytelling, use this timeline to, so that's my first nested column, use this timeline to tell a story about yourself that is interesting. You can locate these sort of points and years in your life that changed you, that changed your direction in life, and think of this as a little work of poetry. Cool. Have at least 6 elements in your timeline, and that would be that for that section. Okay, and then we will change it, just leave it titled exhibitions. Well, I will fix all that stuff in the code later. All right, now let's take a look at work. So this just says artwork. You can give it a more appropriate title. If you are a photographer or something, you could change it to photography. If you just have interesting experiences that aren't really artwork, you could change it. You could change it to experiences or, landscapes, visions, pictures, whatever you want to put here in the title. And let's just take a look. You don't need to change any of these other elements, but let's take a look how to change the gallery feature. So you click into the gallery feature and you have the default layout, which is masonry, I believe. You don't need to change any of these. You can mess with the columns if you want to. I think it looks nice with 2. But each of these is an individual image. So this is how you will curate your work throughout the course. You'll click into this. and just edit it. And then in the media library, you'll be developing stuff that's yours. So just change those out. Save. Cool. So last week we did the blog, so you only have one right now. So you can just feel free to delete everything. And if you want to make sure the headings are the same when you come back here and add your other work, just hit that duplicate button and then change it. And then this is how you will upload all your work that you do in this class. Really nice, right? This is a nice little portfolio site already. Cool. So save it. And like I said, one final thing is you need to change the featured image because that's what will show up for the feed. Okay, I think that is about it. And remember, I'm taking that we're just very new to WordPress, so I will come back and look at your work and fix anything, or if you have any problems, just chat me on Slack, okay? And I'll come back and check it. But that is the basics of it. That's kind of all you need for that project. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, we have categories. So now they don't need to be, these are just dumb regions that came with the theme. So maybe we'll add a new category and call it staff. All right, cool. So that is it for this assignment. It is to build a portfolio post that shows your profile and to fill out your biography, use exhibitions as a way of writing an autobiographical timeline, and in work is a gallery of your work, and just delete video. Then go ahead and publish it, and that will be all for this assignment. And that's the main WordPress thing for week 3. Okay.